Thank you to the fans. I think ultimately that was the single biggest reason that I decided to stay here.
Where's all the warm spring weather? Well, it doesn't matter because we welcome you inside Miller Park on a rainy Friday night in April when the Brewers are ready to take on the Houston Astros. And all eyes on number 8 as Ryan Braun signs a 5-year extension that will keep him in a Brewer uniform through the 2020 season. A historic signing by the franchise on Thursday. Hi, everybody. I'm Craig Kashan. Welcome to our coverage of Brewers baseball here on Fox Sports Wisconsin against the Houston Astros. All eyes on Ryan Braun this weekend, no doubt. On the field, though, forget about the contracts and the money. He's got an 18-game streak going where he's reached base safely in the first 18 on the season. Yovani Gallardo out on the hill for the Brewers tonight against Houston in his career. A fine 7-2 record and a 3.05 ERA. Let's talk more about the Milwaukee starters. How about this? Over the last 15 games, they're 7-2 with a 2.50 ERA. In fact, overall, the Brewer pitching staff second in the National League with an ERA of just over 3. So everything falling into place, and now a 6-game homestand to try to gain some ground in the National League Central. Still ahead, a star is Braun. That's it. BA and Rock looking at potential Hall of Famer currently in a Milwaukee Brewer uniform. Game 1, Astros Brewers on the way on Fox Sports Wisconsin.
Fox Sports Wisconsin is presented by Menards. Save big money on all your home improvement needs at Menards. By Triple Hops Brewed Miller Lite. Taste greatness. By AT&T. And brought to you by Toyota, proud sponsor of the Milwaukee Brewers and the Toyota territory at Miller Park. big day in the team store as the Brewers return to Milwaukee, and a big day yesterday for Ryan Braun. It's back to business as usual today as Braun and the Brewers getting ready for the Houston Astros, and they'll send up their ace. Yovani Gallardo is on the mound tonight, trying to make a bounce back after 2 starts where he was not Yovani-like. And hi, everybody. We welcome you back from Miller Park. Brian Anderson, Bill Schroeder. Thank goodness for the roof. That's the only reason we're playing baseball tonight, Rock. And it certainly was a big day yesterday inside Miller Park with Ryan Braun announcing a major contract extension. And if you look at the pure baseball numbers, that was an easy one for Doug Melvin and the gang to get that done.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, so far in his career, not only is Ryan Braun one of the best players right now, but he's off to a start that rivals just about everybody in baseball history. And when a guy like that comes to you and says, I want to be here for 10 years, Doug Melvin's only response got to be, how quick can we sign this guy? So it's great to have Ryan in the fold. You got to be careful the guys you give long-term deals to, but Ryan Braun's certainly one of them. He's a self-motivator. He puts out every day. He's always in the lineup. He's a guy that you can give a big, long contract to and expect greatness, and he's done that so far.
Historic numbers. Only Albert Pujols better than Braun since May 25th in most of these categories, all with the exception of hits, and only Ichiro Suzuki with more hits than Ryan Braun since his debut in May of 2007. The stats do not lie. Braun and the Brewers ready to go. Can Gallardo get back on track? The Brewers and the Astros. It's coming up next from Miller Park. Stay with us. And here come the Milwaukee Brewers back at home, starting a 6-game homestand tonight. 3 against the Astros, 3 more against the Cincinnati Reds as the crew trying to get moving here in this 2011 season. They are 9-9, which is a pretty good mark after an 0-4 start. Ron Renicky saying he's pleased with the way the Brewers have played on the road this year outside that first series, and coming off a series where they've taken 2 out of 3 from the Phillies. There is Brad Mills, the skipper of the Houston Astros, and you see where the Astros are this year, 7-12. They are 3 games back in the division, off to a slow start in the National League Central. And Brad Mills, Piggly Wiggly starting lineup. Michael Bourne at the top. Angel Sanchez batting second with Hunter Pence in the 3-hole. The middle of the order is Lee, Wallace, and Johnson. Former Brewer Bill Hall is in there. He's the everyday second baseman in Houston. Humberto Quintero and Figueroa rounded out. And it's Giovanni Gallardo making his 5th start of the season. Gallardo has posted good numbers against Houston over his career, and I know the Brewers are anxious to get Giovanni back on track.
Yeah, his last couple of starts have been a little bit shaky. He's had some shades of brilliance, but he's been victimized by the big inning as of late. He's 7-2 though in 9 starts against the Astros.
That's Paul Schreiber barking out the balls and strikes. Mike McClinsky, Joe West, and Angel Hernandez on the bases. The crew chief is Joe West. Michael Bourne leading off for Houston. Number of key losses last year for the Astros. You have to say they're in a rebuilding mode right now. Possible ownership change for the Astros. Betancourt makes a play. Bourne retired, 1 away, and that's how we get our evening started on a Friday night. Joining Betancourt defensively, it's Braun, Gomez, and Kotze in the outfield. McGee and Betancourt on the left side with Weeks and Fielder on the right. And Lucroy does the catching tonight. Our Blaine Farmer Fleet Brewers defense. A season's worth of highlight reel put together by Carlos Gomez on the last road trip. Defensively in center field. What a clinic he put on in Philadelphia.
Yeah, caught just about everything that stayed in the ballpark out in center field. The Brewers have been playing very well defensively. They lead the National League in team fielding percentage. They've committed only 7 errors. That's fewest in the National League.
Tied for the fewest in the major leagues with the Red Sox. Gallardo pumping in a lot of strikes early. Ron Renicky and Rick Kranitz, manager and pitching coach, with their opening day starter on the mound tonight. Not a lot of household names with this Houston club any longer. The Brewers were in Houston when they made 2 blockbuster trades, trading away Roy Oswalt and Lance Berkman just before the trade deadline. 0-2 pitch, and it's just outside. A ball and 2 strikes. Gallardo is 7-2 career against the Houston Astros. He had 9 starts.
Yep, a 3.05 earned run average. The Brewers, as a matter of fact, have pretty well dominated the Astros here at Miller Park for a while now. And Giovanni's been a big part of that.
Now the Brewers have certainly enjoyed having the Astros in Milwaukee, while they've struggled in Houston. Went 1-5 in Houston last year. 6-3 against the Astros at Miller Park a season ago.
Yeah, the Brewers have beaten the Astros 24 of the last 28 games here at Miller Park.
How about that? And some of Gallardo's best games of his career have been against Houston, whether it be here in Milwaukee or down in Houston. I recall his first complete game was against the Astros in front of a bunch of friends and family. Now this Astros club, they're in a transition. They have some guys that you have to work around. It's specifically Hunter Pence and Carlos Lee. Brett Wallace looks like a good young player, their first baseman. Did he go? Yes, he did. Gallardo strikes out Angel Sanchez. Out number 2.
Well, the curveball was a pitch that he had a tough time with his last time out against Washington. Looked like a pretty good one that time.
Well, our scouting report tonight comes from pitching coach Rick Kranitz on Giovanni.
you have to command the ball down the strike zone, and you know, he's got some pitches up, and I think he needs to get back to what makes him who he is, and that's being able to pound that zone down, especially with his fastball. So we'll see tonight. Hopefully he'll get to his fastball and be down the strike zone like he always is.
And he had a pretty good fastball to start that game against the Nationals, but gave up a home run on a 3-2 pitch and seemed to go away from it quite a bit. His velocity was very good his last time out, about 93.
Gallardo giving up 2 3-run home runs against Washington in his last start. 7 earned runs total for Giovanni. Matching up with Hunter Pence, who is the premier bat in this batting order now for Houston. A .280 hitter coming in with a couple of homers and 13 runs batted in. Leads the Astros in RBIs. Gallardo and Pence linked together back to their amateur days in the Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex. Gallardo was a high school player, and Pence played his college ball at UT Arlington. And down goes Pence. Great start tonight for Gallardo. 3 up, 3 down with 2 strikeouts. And the Brewers are coming up. A 3 up, 3 down inning with a couple of strikeouts. And the Brewers skipper is excited to be back in Miller Park. Brewers have not been here much. Here is the Piggly Wiggly starting lineup for Renicky tonight. Weeks, Gomez, and Braun will lead off. Then it's Fielder, McGee, and Katse. Bottom of the order, Betancourt, Lucroy, and Gallardo. And that lineup will face Nelson Figueroa of the Houston Astros, a former Brewer.
Yeah, he's off to a rough start. His first 2 starts this year were not very good. Last time out, much better. Now against the Brewers in his career, a 3-2 record, ERA at 4.19, 12 games, and that's 4 starts for the soft-throwing Nelson Figueroa.
Ricky Weeks to lead him off. 273 batting average to start play today. Has 4 home runs and 7 driven in. He's among the club leaders in home runs. Braun has the team high right now with 5. Enjoyed good power numbers, run producing numbers against Houston in his career. And the new $100 million man will hit in this first inning. Quite a contract. If you have been with us, talked extensively about it on Brewers Live. Ryan kind enough to join us for a sit down today on our Brewers Live pregame show. And I would expect that at this point, after all of the day's events yesterday, and Mark Atanasio is here, the owner, Braun's anxious to get back to some normalcy now.
Yeah.
Took care of all of the media attention and the media responsibilities during the off day. So Good job by all.
Yeah, that doesn't seem to ever bother Ryan. Media attention and being the focus of a lot of attention. So it's another day at the office for Brawny. Another $100 million in his pocket. It's always nice in this day and age to know you got that coming. But it speaks a lot of the Brewers organization, the fans, you know, the city of Milwaukee. And Ryan approached the Brewers on getting that extension done. And how fast can we get it done? I would imagine the Brewers would say. One of the best starts to a player's career of all time.
Bouncing ball to short. Sanchez makes a play and Weeks is retired. All right, defensively for the Astros tonight behind Figueroa, it's Carlos Lee, Michael Bourne, and Hunter Pence. Around the horn, Chris Johnson, Angel Sanchez, Bill Hall, and Brett Wallace. Humberto Quintero does the catching. Figueroa on the mound looking for his first win of the season. And the Brewers trying to stay hot here at home. They've had good success in their home ballpark. Milwaukee 5-2 this year at home this season. And after that 0-4 start to the beginning of the year, that was a much needed 5-2 homestand to begin the first leg of the home schedule.
It would have been a very good start to the season after that 4-0 start had it not been for that sweep at the hands of the Nationals. Played well in Pittsburgh, played very well in Philadelphia. But for whatever reason, just could not get it going against Washington.
Excellent bounce back against the Phillies. I think that's what impressed the manager more than anything else, the resiliency of the club to come back after a tough series in our nation's capital and to really match up against one of the premier clubs in the National League. The Brewers feel like they can tow it up with anybody, and that was a good test on the road early.
Yeah, the Brewers starters outpitched the Philly starters, who are supposed to be, as a group, one of the best pitching staffs put together in a long, long time.
Zach Greinke back with the big league club until his start in Nashville on Sunday. I think you talk to the team, you talk to Ron Renicky and Rick Kranitz, and they feel like they're just keeping things in order until they get the reinforcement.